We're back now with the head of the Central Intelligence Agency, the Director, John Brennan. Director, thank you so much for coming. Let me just start off with this. Congress is coming back, the Senate is today, to try to find some way to come to some resolution about the expiration of this authority that the National Security Agency has to collect so-called metadata. In other words, collect these phone records and keep track of them. Some people say they have no business doing that whatsoever, and they want it to end. Others say it is absolutely vital to fighting the war on terrorism. I take it you come down on that side of it.
Right, Bob. First of all, let me say it's an honor to be here. You're an icon in the broadcast and news industry, and it really is an honor to be on your last show.
Well, thank you very much.
The tools that the government has used over the last dozen years to keep this country safe are integral to making sure that we're able to stop terrorists in their tracks. The tools that we had under the Patriot Act, those ways that we are able to monitor their activities, really have helped stop attacks. These tools are all part of a package of safeguards that has been put in place. And so the President, the Attorney General, the Director of FBI, Director of National Intelligence, the heads of NSA and CIA, all are very supportive of an extension of those capabilities and those authorities. And unfortunately, I think that there's been a little bit too much political grandstanding and crusading for ideological causes that have really skewed the debate on this issue. But these tools are important to American lives.
Well, what happens if this does run out at midnight tonight? Because Senator Rand Paul, among others, says he's going to do everything he can to delay this. Let's just say they don't do anything, these authorities expire. What happens?
Well, the Bureau does not have the ability then to track these various elements that we are looking at who are trying to carry out attacks here in the homeland. Whether it is the roving wiretap, individuals who use multiple phones in order to conduct communications and to plan attacks. Whether or not it's the ability to be able to go into business records and get court orders. These are very important authorities that have not been abused by the government. These are authorities that have been used by the government to make sure that we're able to safeguard Americans. And the sad irony is that most Americans expect the government to protect them. And so although there's a lot of debate that goes on in the Congress and the Hill on this issue, I think when you go out to Boise or Tampa or Louisville, Americans are expecting their law enforcement and Homeland Security and intelligence professionals to do their work. And these authorities are important.
Do you think that terrorist elements will take advantage of this?
I think terrorist elements have watched very carefully what has happened here in the United States. Whether or not it's disclosures of classified information or whether it's changes in the law and policies, they're looking for the seams to operate within. And this is something that we can't afford to do right now, because if you look at the horrific terrorist attacks and violence that's being perpetrated around the globe, we need to keep our country safe, and our oceans are not keeping us safe the way they did a century ago.
Is there any kind of backup plan or anything that, or is there anything that will go into effect to try to make up for this while Congress is trying to decide what to do about it?
Well, law enforcement and intelligence professionals will always use whatever authorities and capabilities and tools they have. And if these lapse, I think we're going to have fewer tools, but we'll be working as hard as we can to protect the American people. We have a very good track record of doing that. We need to continue to do that when we look at what's happening, particularly in the Middle East, and how ISIL and other groups are trying to export their violence to include on our shores.
Well, you know, after 9/11, people said when you look back at the summer before 9/11, there were all kind of red lights blinking, and we kind of missed that. Are you worried that we may be seeing another kind of situation like that here?
Yes, because these tools give us better ability to see the tactical moves that various terrorist groups or individuals are making. And what we need to do is to have that strategic intelligence perspective, but at the same time we need to have those technical tools and capabilities here in the homeland to stop that attack.